I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me.
They never left, we just forgot how to listen. July 19, 2025, beneath the silence where their names used to be. Some stories don't begin. They continue, in breathless rooms and between the folds of time. Taehyung didn't reappear. He unfolded, like an old letter never opened, yet always carried. And Jungkook? He didn't speak. He simply remembered out loud. In Norway, a bench was found facing the ocean. No plaque. No initials. Just a carved phrase on the wood. He waits not for someone, but for the version of himself he promised to return as. Locals say a man sat there at dawn for 7 days. He never looked back. Only forward into the mist. And when he left, a Polaroid remained. 2 silhouettes. One turning away. The other waiting. Armies didn't repost it. They printed it. Folded it. Placed it under their pillows like a wish they weren't ready to speak aloud. Jungkook is still writing to him, but the ink has changed. It's softer now. Less urgent. More sacred. In his last live he whispered a lyric mid-song. If you're not here, I'll sing to the space where you used to be. And for the first time in months, fans heard both of them. Even in absence, their harmony remains. Taehyung appeared in no photos, but a shadow was seen in Kyoto. A tea shop owner recalls. He never ordered tea. Just touched the rim of a ceramic cup, smiled, and left a paper crane. The crane carried 7 petals, each one handwritten with a Korean phrase. I never wanted to be seen. I wanted to be felt. There's a studio room in Seoul where time doesn't move. Jungkook still visits, but he only records on rainy nights. Producers say he hums first, then waits, as if a response might arrive. Not in vocals, but in presence. He never says who the song is for. But when the strings swell, everyone whispers the same name. A fan in Istanbul heard a note in the wind. She wasn't recording. She was just listening. It sounded like a hum. Low. Fragile. Familiar. She cried instantly. Not because she recognized it, but because her heart did. The world wants comebacks. But Taehyung gives us clarity. He doesn't return in teaser clips or viral shorts. He returns in the rustle of leaves that sound like a lullaby. The pause before Jungkook speaks. The look in ARMY's eyes when purple light hits them just right. There's a film reel in someone's hands. Unreleased. Unedited. Unspoken. It shows Jungkook walking barefoot through snow. No words. Just his breath. And over it, a faint heartbeat. Rumors say Taehyung composed it. Not as music, but as memory. The comeback was never the point, Taehyung once said. Fans unearthed the quote in an old interview never aired. He continued, I don't want to shock. I want to soothe. I don't want to arrive. I want to remind. And that's what this feels like now. Not a comeback. A reminder that stillness is not silence. It's sanctuary. Jungkook wore the bracelet again. The one from 2020. The one fans always said matched Taehyung's. He didn't mention it, but he touched it 3 times during the bridge of his unreleased ballad. And when someone in the comments typed, "Did you lose someone?" he smiled. The kind that breaks quietly. Then said, "No. He's just everywhere except beside me." The industry asks for content. Taekook offers context. Their friendship doesn't need announcements. Their bond doesn't crave confirmation. Their silence isn't distance, it's depth. Armies now understand. Some love doesn't live in the spotlight. It lives in the shadows we choose to follow anyway. In Argentina, a church choir hummed Sweet Night without knowing why. An old woman led them. She didn't know BTS. She just said, "The melody came to me in a dream." When the video went viral, Taehyung posted nothing. But the next day, a candle appeared on his old Instagram highlight. No caption. Just flame. The fans are not just watching. They are becoming. Becoming quieter. Becoming gentler. Becoming believers. This is not a comeback era. This is a sacred echo. Of what was. Of what is. Of what we're all still holding on to without needing to hold them. He's not missing, he's just music now. That's what a child said in a fan video. She wasn't taught that. She felt it. And that's what makes this different. You don't have to understand Taekook. You just have to feel the world a little more slowly, a little more softly. Because love like this doesn't fade. It settles. And somewhere tonight, Jungkook is playing a melody with no end. Taehyung is listening from a city with no name. And ARMY? They're not asking when anymore. They're whispering thank you into the dusk. Because some eras never end. They simply become the way we learn to breathe again.
Don't ask questions, shut your lid. Yeah, don't ask questions, shut your lid. I need to run away from this and go get off the grid. Feel like my brain is...
He never said goodbye, only left the door ajar. July 20th, 2025, somewhere between the fate of a note and the rise of a memory. Some returns don't knock. They slip in quietly through an open window. Or the breath you didn't know you were still holding. Taehyung was never gone. He just became harder to locate on a map. And easier to find inside yourself. In a village near Venice, a painting appeared overnight. It wasn't signed. It wasn't finished. But it was enough. A boy standing under cherry blossoms. His hands full of paper cranes. Each crane had a single syllable written in Korean. Together they formed a sentence. I loved you like silence loves sound. Jungkook doesn't say his name anymore. Not out of fear, but reverence. Because names like his are no longer spoken in interviews. They're murmured in harmonies. They're woven into minor chords. They're hidden in falsettos that tremble too early and last too long. During his last rehearsal, someone whispered backstage. He sings like someone is listening from far away. In Montreal, a fan left a letter on a park bench. It read, Dear V, I don't know where you are, but your absence made me softer. Your quiet helped me hear myself again. Thank you for teaching me how to disappear without being lost. The next day it was gone. But a dried lavender stem remained. Taehyung has become a language, one only the heart understands. He no longer updates. He unfolds. Through a shadow in a mirror. A wind that lifts the corners of old concert photos. The way Jungkook laughs, half-finished, as if waiting for someone to finish the sentence. And ARMYs understand. This is not distance. This is depth. There's a song that only exists in dreams. Fans say they've heard it. Not through speakers, but while falling asleep on rainy nights. It starts with a breath, then a hum, then the sound of pages turning. The lyrics? They don't exist. Only the feeling remains. He loved us without needing applause. Jungkook left a post up for exactly 1 minute. A photo. His hand resting on an old piano key. A ring that once matched Taehyung's glinting faintly. Caption. Some sounds are meant to stay unfinished. ARMY didn't screenshot it. They felt it. And that was enough. In Seoul, an art student recreated a memory she never witnessed. A sketch of two boys walking opposite directions. But their shadows leaning into each other. The caption. They taught me love isn't possession. It's presence that doesn't demand to be seen. The drawing went viral. But the artist deleted her account the next day. Some things aren't made to stay. They're made to move us. Then vanish. Someone found an old microphone in a studio in Tokyo. Etched beneath it. He sang from the throat. But I listened from the heart. JK. No one knows who carved it. But when Jungkook visited the same studio a week later, he placed a daisy on the mic stand. And didn't speak a word. In a coastal town in Ireland, a music box was left on a window ledge. When opened, it played the melody of scenery. But slower. More broken. More human. Inside a note. To remember is to keep someone safe, without asking them to return. The window was open. And the wind carried the song further than anyone expected. Taehyung's art isn't seen. It's felt. Like the first breath after crying. Like the echo of a name you haven't spoken in months. But never really forgot. His hiatus is not absence. It's alchemy. He takes the noise we carry. And hands us stillness. Jungkook's laughter sounds like grief dressed as joy. Not always. But sometimes. And when it does, fans don't comment. They listen. Because somewhere in that half-smile is a boy who once shared a hotel hallway. A city light. A secret harmony. ARMYs have stopped asking when they'll return. They've started lighting candles instead. In bookstores. On balconies. in cities where Taehyung once breathed. And every time Jungkook sings a note too long, they whisper back a name they no longer need permission to believe in. A letter was found in an old album at a thrift shop in Osaka, folded into a Taekook photo card sleeve. No fan claimed it. It read, "If I ever return, don't meet me at the airport. Meet me in the quiet place between who I was and who I promised to become." The album sold in minutes, but no one knows to whom. And maybe that's how it should be. This is not nostalgia. This is devotion. The kind that doesn't chase the past, but builds temples in its memory. The kind that lights a candle for someone who no longer posts, but still lives in every lyric, every heartbeat, every pause between Jungkook's verses. We are not waiting. We are witnessing. That's what one fan wrote on a subway wall in Berlin. In purple ink. No signature. Just belief. And maybe that's the most radical kind of love. The one that stays. Even when the music stops. Even when the names fade. Because some stories don't ask to be finished. They just ask to be held. Gently. Always. Together.
Overloaded, man, I'm losing it. Don't let them tell you what to do, man, they don't know shit.